Good afternoon, GLST220, Intercultural Communication. My name is Nathan Ramsey. It's been a very interesting class. I've enjoyed it. Surprisingly, for choosing the Republic of South Korea, part of the Confucian Asian group, my main choice for that reason was I spent 4 years in the Republic of Korea on the Southern Peninsula, and it was a great experience. I got to tour many Christian churches there. Most of the Katusa soldiers that I worked with in that time while in the military were Christians. I had a few Buddhists. It was a very interesting and heartwarming experience to tour around the country with them and experience the Buddhist temples. One was thousands of years old. It was beautiful, no photos allowed to be taken, or otherwise I would attach some in this video. It was a very fascinating culture to be a part of and spend that many years with. Um, as how to relate it, I was actually surprised with the fact that two main religions in the Republic of South Korea are Buddhism and Christianity. I thought they would have a closer tie, but surprisingly, they don't have very many ties. It was a harder topic than I thought to bridge. Uh, but as for Act One, establishing his kingdom, um, Buddha took a very different path to explaining, and he didn't tell them how it all began. He felt they didn't need to know the beginning of the story, how it all began, because. And he gave them a very interesting parable about a man shot by a poison arrow, and it's in my grand narrative if you'd like to read it. It's too much to cover in a 5 to 10 minute video, but it really did. It provided me myself as a Christian a better understanding of what the message was. Um, as for Christianity and Buddhism, like I said, they don't have a lot in common. But as for that, creationism, they don't think that the world just was created in a spur of a moment. They don't really understand how it was. They think it's a cyclical event, that this planet and all of us have been here and we are reincarnated in different ways. As for sin, the Buddhists don't really believe in sin. They do, however, believe in karma. One of the biggest reasons that Buddha told them they didn't believe in like the such a thing as the original sin was we as humans wouldn't strive as hard to succeed and excel in bettering ourselves if we were, say, cursed with the initial original sin. It would be something that would hamper and lower our motivation to try to succeed. Like kind of like taking a test that you know is rigged. You know you can't win, so why try? But that's not who we are as Christians. We strive to be better, to be like Him, to meet His goal and His image, while as they follow His guidelines, and they're very similar to Christianity. Actually, they have a set of rules very similar to the Ten Commandments. Do not kill, do not steal, do not misuse, do not lie, do not indulge in intoxicants. For the most part, Christianity and Catholicism does say that. As for the Jews, it was actually ironically for me to find out that some of the original followers of Jesus were believed to actually have been Buddhist originally that were converted over. So that was fascinating to me. And that could be also what relates to the fact that there's so many Christians that were prior Buddhists. The stories are relatable in ways, and I guess it's how you perceive the story. Um, but just as Christians, we're told to be better people, to seek out better and help others, help better them, bring them into the church. Uh, Buddhists are on the same wavelength, same story. Be a better person, do things that help make the world a better place. We're all on that same page. No matter how different we are, we have that in common. So that was fascinating to me myself. As for the coming of the King, God sent His only Son down to the earth to roam among us and comfort the sick. He cured the ill. Um, he sacrificed Himself for the sins of all man. Um, Buddhists kind of look at it a little differently. They don't really believe so much in like eternal rest or going to heaven. Their reincarnation um, is closely tied in some ways to Jesus' resurrection. They are not closed off to resurrection. They're more in so that their spirit comes back reincarnated as something else, like an animal or an insect or another loved one. But they are accepting in the fact that Jesus could have been resurrected, and if He could do it, that they themselves, if achieving that level of enlightenment, that they could do it as well. So they're not closed off to the fact. So that would be the most approachable way to broach that topic. Uh, as for discussing the Holy Spirit and the church, their Holy Spirit is a little, it's not so much a being as it is a way of life, which, if you think about it, the Holy Spirit, once you've accepted it into you and it speaks through you, it becomes a way of life. So, yet again, there's another similarity that between the two. We are the Holy Spirit guides us on the path that we're meant to be on. For them, it's the Dharma. The Dharma is the form of moral law and code that they follow to be a better Buddhist. So their Holy Spirit is written in word that they can refer to, whereas we have to sit down, we have to believe, and then we will accept it and then hear the words. So for us, the Holy Spirit is more spiritual, I would have to say, but even though theirs is written down in a code, basically, like the Ten Commandments, I don't think it's much differently. It's a lot of religions, I believe, are the same thing. I think just over thousands of years, they've slightly twisted and modified. We had an exercise with Cub Scouts when I was teaching Cub Scouts in high school. We take a circle of 20 Cub Scouts, we whisper something in one person's ear, and they pass it along. And by the time that story goes all the way around the group and comes back to the instructor, myself, it's completely changed. Nobody will carry that story thoroughly through time accurately. So to me, I believe that all religions, for the most part, have similar ways that just it's straight off from group to group throughout history, and that's where we are today. As for the Return of the King, our story is very well laid out in the Bible. I found out through this college program that it's the most accurate historical account that we have of the planet, and they're finding out it's more and more accurate than anything, especially Noah's flood. They're finding so much proof of how that worked out and how it changes the timeline of the age of this planet. Now, as for Buddhism, their story is kind of laid out similar. They believe everything's cyclical, but at the same time, they were told by the last Buddha before he died that in 2,500 years, which ironically is just over 100 years from now, there would be another Buddha that would come in, that would be the ultimate Buddha, that would come in and change the laws, change the beliefs of the Buddhist system, and make it the ultimate religion. So I won't be here for it, but in just over 100 years, there could be a major change in the Buddhist beliefs, and that could be tied to something that's coming in the Bible. I mean, we're seeing a lot of signs now that could be leading to something around the world on the news today. I follow military affairs, so it's an interesting time to be in the world, and definitely need to be cognizant of what's going on and bring yourself closer to your beliefs. I think we can't hold anything against anyone. I mean, we've all had a dark past. Christianity and Catholicism has had a dark past. Muslim religion just had a dark past and currently is getting a more of a dark past to it. But I think we just have to believe in one another. We as humans just need to strive to be better people. But I also believe there is evil in the world. We're seeing a lot of it right now. We're going to have to combat that. We have to come together as those religions that are here to better the world and make it a better place. And if we can work together to stamp out that evil, I feel that we can relate these religions together better and be better people and follow those guidelines. Again, this is my last class. It's been a wonderful experience. I enjoyed this class. It was neat to sit down and really look at the details of how Christianity related to Buddhism. But overall, the entire program, especially the geology and some other history facts, was fascinating on how well the Bible tied into this on a historical platform in reference to geological events. It was mind-boggling, some of the things we covered that I really enjoy and I'm still looking into today, because it really opens the Bible up for me, because I like to know the science behind it, and I feel like he left all this here for us to discover and understand better. Again, I've enjoyed the class. I've enjoyed the program. This is it for me. This is my last assignment. Unfortunately, turned it in a little late, but God bless you all. Godspeed on all your future endeavors.